origin power being able to take on a form. This was the symbol of a warrior of gushing spring tear. Surrounded by taunts and mocking laughter, Feng Luo fled with his tail between his legs. If it was not due to the fact that his elder brother, Feng Yan, was indeed an incomparable genius, then that warrior of gushing spring tear absolutely had the right to kill him on the spot. The most important thing in martial arts was the hierarchy of martial artists, and Feng Luo's previous actions could practically be considered a grave breach of these unspoken rules. So even if he had killed him, the Feng clan would dare not make a fuss about it. Brother Ling, congratulations. Congratulations, Brother Ling, for having such an excellent son. Brother Ling, this time you'll have to host a dinner banquet in celebration. After looking up at the stage, many of the major characters of the various clans of Grey Cloud Town began offering their congratulations to Ling Dongxing. Ling Dongxing naturally laughed loudly at this, absolutely delighted. Before, he had also imagined such a scene happening, but he knew this was not a realistic dream. He never thought that there would be a day that this dream would become reality. Ha! This stupid brat is just lucky enough to obtain a place of enrollment into Huyang Academy. There shouldn't be any chance of him advancing further than this. He shook his head, looking very modest. Actually, anyone could see that he was smiling so wide that the corners of his lips seemed like they were about to split apart from the effort. It was obvious that he was close to being beside himself with joy. True, whoever it was that had a son that was qualified enough to enter into Huyang Academy, he would also smile so proudly. Brother Ling, you don't have to be so modest. For those of us who came from Grey Cloud Town, it is already very impressive to be able to enter the top 50. Moreover, your son is only 17 years old this year, so he'd still be able to enter the Dayuan tournament that will be held 3 years later and 6 years later. Who knows, maybe in the next tournament he'd qualify for the top 10, and in the one after he'd place first, someone said with a laugh. Although Ling Han had fought a beautiful battle this time, but still, his opponents this time were really too weak. None of them thought that he, with his cultivation of only the 4th layer of element gathering tier, would be able to enter the top 10, let alone defeat those in the 9th layer of element gathering tier, like the 4th prince. Ling Dongxing laughed mischievously. He, of course, could not say that his son was full of grand ambitions, and that he was aiming directly to get the first place this time. Honestly, he too did not dare believe it. After all, the gap between cultivation levels was too great. Ling Han walked down the stage, and everyone stepped forward to offer their congratulations. After all, anyone who managed to enter into Huyang Academy had excellent prospects in his future. Who knows? They may be able to become an overnight celebrity and become a person that would hold immense status and power in this rain country. As a result, no one would mind speaking a few words of praise at this moment. In any case, they wouldn't lose anything from it, right? And if Ling Han managed to end up with great achievements in the future, they'd be able to climb to a higher status using their friendly relations with him. Ling Dongxing, as the clan head of the Ling clan, was no stranger to this kind of social niceties. He took care of everything, making everyone feel that they have been paid adequate attention. Father and son, as well as Lu Yutong, returned to Heaven's Medicine Pavilion. After one night of rest, the battles to decide top 10 from the 50 who advanced into the second round would take place. In truth, the top 10 would all receive rewards. Of course, the further ahead your placement, the better your prize. On the other side, Li Hao had also managed to advance into the top 50 and had demonstrated extraordinary talent with his saber chi, causing many people to be very optimistic about his future prospects, as there were no more than 10 in this generation of young people of Dayuan City that have managed to form chi. However, some of the senior members of the Li clan had arrived with Li Hao, so naturally, they had to celebrate with their own people first the night before. Thus, they did not invite Ling Han, and neither did they invite Lu Dong and the others. But once they returned to Go Rock Town, the Li clan would definitely hold a grand celebratory banquet. The next day, Ling Han and Lu Yu Tong once again arrived at the wrestling ring of the city. Meanwhile, Zhu He Xin and Zhang Wei Shan were in the process of concocting the reverse pill and have long since entered the oblivious mode. so they did not come to watch Ling Han compete. Big Brother Ling. Li Hao walked over and stood by his side. He then directed a respectful gaze at the fourth prince, Li Dongyue and the others. They had all been people that he had once idolized and looked up to. He'd never thought that he would be able to compete with them now, causing him to feel unreasonably exhilarated. Do not look down on yourself. You have already formed Saber Chi, so your future achievements will definitely exceed them, Ling Han said, giving him a comforting pat on the shoulder. N. Li Hao nodded seriously. In truth, the real difference between himself and the fourth prince and the others was his lacking cultivation level. But since he's already managed to form Saber Chi, he too would be able to become a ruler amongst those of the same cultivation level in future. Brother Ling. When they saw Ling Han approach, the fourth prince and the others clasped their hands politely and spoke up in greeting. Li Hao could not help gaping at this. This Ling Han was really too popular, wasn't he? As if he was the moon which the stars could only revolve around. Even the fourth prince was not as popular as he was. That was natural. Currently, there stood 3 dignified black great alchemists behind him, so from a certain angle, he was even more influential than the Daiyuan king. The battles to decide the top 10 will begin now. The chief butler appeared. His eyes were squinted, making him look like a doddering old man. However, his voice was extremely loud and clear, spreading to every nook and cranny of the wrestling ring. The rules are very simple. There are 10 tournament stages here. Choose any which one and walk onto the stage. If there's no one there, then you will be the stage master. If there's already someone, then you will challenge the stage master. Everyone will only have a single chance to challenge the stage master. By sundown, the 10 people who are remaining on the tournament stage will be the top 10. This was indeed very simple. They simply had to battle it out. When the chief butler had finished speaking, the majority of the participants all looked at the fourth prince, Li Dongyue, and the others. These people possessed overwhelming power, so if any of the others wanted to obtain a place in the top 10, then they definitely want to avoid encountering these powerful warriors. The fourth prince laughed loudly and exuded the air of a ruler. He gave a great leap and landed on the first tournament stage, where he stood with his arms crossed behind his waist, waiting to be challenged. I'll present myself first. Li Dongyue leapt onto the second tournament stage. Jin Wuji, Bailey Tengyun, Xia Zhang, and the others also respectively claimed a tournament stage. And in an instant, 7 tournament stages were owned. These people all had absolute confidence and were not the slightest bit worried that they'd be tired out by fighting one battle after another. Ling Han took one step forward, also preparing to step onto one of the remaining stages. Big Brother Ling, let's just wait until the afternoon. We'll have a bigger chance that way, Li Hao hurriedly advised. Haha, it's fine. There are not many here who can match me. Ling Han gave a nonchalant wave of his hand. He gave a great leap and landed on the 8th tournament stage. Soon after, the 9th and 10th tournament stages were also occupied, and with that, the 10th stage masters have appeared. Now it was time to see who would go up to challenge them. I'll go. Someone jumped up onto the 10th tournament stage and the first battle began. Right after, another person leapt up onto the 9th tournament stage. But what made the audience feel very curious about was that no one actually went to challenge Ling Han. There was no lack of elites in the 9th layer of element gathering tier here, so naturally they should be able to sense that Ling Han was only in the 4th layer of element gathering tier. So theoretically, this kind of cultivation level was the lowest of all 10 stage masters, but why didn't anyone go up to challenge him? They didn't understand. The majority of those who advanced into the top 50 had attended the fourth prince's banquet just a few days ago. So, of course, they knew that Ling Han actually had the support of 3 black grade alchemists. Who would dare challenge him? Do you not intend to give face to the 3 alchemists behind Ling Han? In any case, aside from the fourth prince, Li Dongyue, and other such powerful warriors, there were still 2 or 3 slightly weaker competitors. So there was no need for them to stir up the hornet's nest that was Ling Han. But of course, the unexpected could still happen. I will challenge you. A young man jumped up onto Ling Han's tournament stage. He was a dark horse that had suddenly appeared in the Dayuan tournament this time, so he had not received an invitation to the fourth prince's banquet a few days ago. As a result, he naturally had no idea of Ling Han's background.